Our campaign of direct action against the badger culls over the last few years have been so successful that we've stopped rollouts. Owen Patterson wanted to see 10 rollouts every year starting in 2014, and the number of badgers being killed, the target numbers have been very difficult for them to reach, and that is in part mostly down to us. This year we face a massive challenge. The licences are looking at being changed so that the culls can continue beyond the 6 weeks until they hit their minimum targets. A rollout to a number up to 6 new zones, which means that although obviously there'll be locals in each of those zones, there'll be less of us in each area altogether. Now that in part is what they want. They want to try to make us less successful in what we do. And Liz Truss has specifically said last year in December that policing costs would eventually come down to nothing, because policing costs are one of the key factors in the badger cull, the cost-benefit analysis. The badger culls can never be financially worthwhile as long as there are protests, and that's something that we need to look at. We need to make these culls as expensive as possible. We need to make sure that police costs are as high as possible. It's something that we've always tried to do. We've tried to make them expensive to police, and we need to really focus on that this year, because if we don't, and if areas aren't well covered and they don't need much policing, then it will be easier for them to roll out to more areas next year. What we're going to do is every weekend have a national demonstration, and we want people from all of the cull zones to go and head into one cull zone. And when they come into that cull zone, we want people to maybe help with set surveying if it's needed to be done, but also we want mobile demonstrations at the farms. Natural England had an industrial tribunal, and it was ruled it is perfectly lawful for us to be demonstrating outside farms. It is perfectly lawful for us to knock on a farmer's door and ask him why he is involved in the badger cull.
The people behind the culls are all trying their best to get us out of the fields, or they should have been careful what they wish for, because if we aren't in the fields, then all that remains for us is old school animal rights tactics, which is up close, personal, and on the doorstep. Let's see how the shooters, the cull organisers, the MPs, and the farmers like that.